Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Building a Nation with Polonia Warszawa. Now, Season 14, interesting one. First time I've ever done a season after winning the Champions League, so this is an interesting scenario we find ourselves in, but I want to sort of maintain our focus, and I've done a lot over this summer, really sort of building into the nitty-gritty of things and freshening things up for the brand new season, as we've got slightly different objectives, which involves obviously Poland on a whole, both the country and of course the other teams in Poland. Now, they've not exactly kept their end of the bargain up in a lot of that situations. More on that in a minute. But first, I just wanted to show you, I've updated the kits. We decided that I'd finally decided after 13 seasons, now we're a big force in Europe. We'd go for some brand new kits. So thank you to Owen for sorting those out. I had a few different sort of submissions to the kits, and this is the one I eventually ended up going with as well. So there we go. There is a third kit, but because we only have 2 in the database, it won't appear, basically, which is a shame because it's a very nice fetching yellow number. In addition to that, I've added 24 faces to players, and believe me, that took a bloody long time to sort out. You can see a lot of them on the page right now. There's no spoilers in players right now. There's Scott English, but he's just a loan signing. He's not that great, to be honest. No spoilers for players. You can see that almost the entire squad of players do have faces now. Anyone important, essentially, has a face. So that's a nice step forward, I think, really. And last but not least, because we've moved into our new stadium, I felt we should name it. So we've changed the name of the new stadium to Warszawa Warownia, which basically means, from what I'm told anyway, like a fortress in Warsaw or a stronghold, essentially. So that's what we decided to go with again. So thank you for your ideas. A lot of people, like some of the ideas I just didn't think would be a good name for an actual stadium, things that related to Bruno Bridges. I wanted a seriously cool name for the stadium, so that's what we've gone with. It's 16,100 capacity. However, I've asked the board and they're already extending it. So by the end of next season, it will be 17,500 capacity. And with plenty of room to improve after that, I'm sure. I'm really excited about what the future holds for us as we slowly but surely build our stadium size up. God, it's hot in here. Okay, so I mentioned other Polish sides. They just couldn't. Just couldn't. 3 years in a row, we've had both teams in the group stages. Lech, you let us down. They let us down. Yeah, they lost. I can't remember who it was even to. I think it was a Russian side, and it was very, very disappointing. So Lech are in the Europa League group stages this year, which is not great in all honesty, but there you go. And they'll be joined in there by Lechia. Gornik did get through their first qualifying round, but they drew, I can't remember who they got drawn against, but they got knocked out comfortably. However, it was Katowice, who I feel really sorry for, to be honest. They smashed their way through their first qualifying round, and then they got drawn against Sevilla. And I thought, oh, the poor babies. I think they got beat about 9-0 on aggregate by them, because that's such an unfortunate draw to get for the qualifiers to get into the Europa League. I feel like Katowice could have beat most teams, but Sevilla, no chance. So they got really stiffed on that one. So we do have 2 teams in the group stages there. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to rely on a lot of us this year. But I still think with the Dutch losing an 11-point season, we're definitely going to be 7th place by the end of the year. And depending on how things go for Portugal and us, we could maybe get past them as well. So there's good hopes for us. As for us, well, we were a top seed, as you would imagine. And I think we got a pretty easy group for the most part. We got Milan, as in AC, we got Besiktas, and we got Red Bull Salzburg. So I genuinely feel like that is a group that we can finally win. Remember, we've never won our Champions League group. Not even in the season we won the damn thing. We could have got really difficult draws. We actually could have had a group with Real Madrid, Dortmund, and someone else really strong from pot 4. Side note, if we weren't going to be a pot 1 team due to the fact that we'd won the Champions League, we would have been a decent pot 2 team. So that's always nice to see. Now, this has been a weird summer. There really haven't been a lot of options available in terms of signings. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, anytime I tried to, I had short focuses out there, I had my scouts doing certain assignments, there just wasn't a lot out there that I really wanted. Now, that might be changed by the fact that, of course, we are champions of Europe, so I've had to pick and choose where we can really strengthen, and there's some areas where I really did feel like our players coming through were going to be enough, but I wanted to spend some money, and in the end we did. Mostly on one player in particular, but we have still made a couple of good signings, I really do think, and a few sort of dead rubbers have left the club too. So we're going to talk about that now. Not as many signings as usual, though. Actually, I was just checking. The only player that has actually left the club is Ruben Franceschi. I felt it was time. He wanted to leave. We were getting offers from Premier League sides. Real Madrid actually put an offer in, but he chose to join Wolves for some reason. Okay, no offense, Wolves fan, but, like, come on. So there you go. Only 5 million was the deal, but that's all the most we could get. I mean, look at that. He's on 100 grand a week playing for Wolves in the Premier League. From us, and he was our second choice. It's a really weird system, this, isn't it? But there you go. He has finally left the club after 153 games for the club. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like Iglesias had taken over his spot now, and there wasn't going to get much time, which means we've got an opportunity for the youngster Artur Piscula to play back up to Iglesias this year. And, you know, he came through our youth intake a couple of years ago, and why not give him a chance? We've still got the old hero Martin Mazur as well, and he's actually the only transfer that's left for money. We haven't really got rid of many players this year. I did nearly sell Favela because he's not on much money, and then he wanted a new deal, and I was like, okay, well, let's try this out. And he wanted 60 grand a week starting, and he's not even got an Italian cap. What? You don't deserve that, mate. But I did turn down a £21 million bid from Real Madrid for him, so he is going to be sticking around this year, and I actually think he's really got some pedigree this year. But don't worry, I have signed some more centre-backs too to try and plug that gap a little bit. Anyway, one of them I am very pleased with. Just a few quick loans. So Jorge Gomez has gone out on loan to Ajax for the year, 100 grand a week, 100 grand a week, 100 grand a month. Not too bad. Ahmed Mufta's gone out on loan to Heerenveen for the season. Again, Polish sides just aren't bidding for our players. And Jose Francisco's gone to Levante for the season for £15,000 a month extra plus wages, I think. Thankfully, a few Polish sides did bid for players. So we've got Jez Norris has gone out on loan to Rakov for the year, which is nice. And even more important than that is the fact that Patrick Malec has gone out on loan to Katowice for the season. We had quite a few bids from Polish teams for him this summer, like 1.2 million, I think someone bid for him. But the fact that we've sent him to Katowice for the season to play in their centre of midfield, I think is decent. He came through the youth academy last season. He's got a bright future, I sense, but giving him some game time in the top flight this season, I think could only do him good. Okay, so players in. Firstly, this one, dreadful decision. Brought him in, wanted to terminate the loan, couldn't terminate it for a certain amount of days, and then by the time I could terminate it, it was then outside the transfer window, so I couldn't terminate it. Bad decision. I was just trying to bring in players, and I didn't know much about him, to players that sort of back up to the defensive midfield slot. Now, he's not awful, but he's not good either. He really isn't. And it's the amount of money, like full wages plus like another 100 grand a month. It's a terrible deal. Hold my hands up on that one. However, I do think we've made some decent ones too. Another loan signing, of course, in Scott English. He's come in on loan from... Who is he on loan from? I think Watford. Or, no, Southampton, who are obviously a really decent side this year in the Champions League. We could have got them in our group as well, because they were a pot 2 team. But, yeah, again, I was really struggling for players at one point. I had barely signed up any players, like mid-August, to give you an idea of how much we'd struggled to actually find anyone decent. Now, obviously, Firmino has joined us. There is his lovely face. He's just been called up to the Brazilian national team squad. Very annoying, considering that would bump his wages up even further. But I'm happy with him. He's played a few games in the league, couple of goals here and there. Nice start to the team. I think he's got a bright future with us as well, the 25-year-old. So yeah, he's obviously joined us. I think he's definitely going to be a decent player for us this year. We really are stacked in that striker spot anyway, so plenty of rotation options with him and Pereira. Next up is Edmar Albagaria, who is coming for £135,000. I think I showed you him when I bought him originally, but he has now joined the club. He's just sort of more back up to that spot, really. Then we've got Radu Ardelean, who is a centre-back from Romania. It costs us £2.4 million in total. He's fairly tall, decent heading, marking, tackling, only 19 years old. Of course, naturally, he got a call up to the Romanian squad the moment I signed him, so that boosted his wages up. He was 5-star potential, but unfortunately they've reconsidered that one. I still think he's a solid one, but don't worry, we have signed up another centre-back who I think is genuinely going to be, long-term, is the partner that Freitas has needed this entire time, frankly. And his name is brilliant. And this is him. This is Jose Alberto Lamas. You might think, oh, he looks a bit like, what's his guy? The guy we had at Stockport. Don't worry, it is a different face. It's the other guy had a neck tattoo as well. But this is Jose Alberto Lamas, or I'm just going to call him the Llama from now on. Now, he only has 2-star current ability, which is fine. He's coming from Atletico, to give you an idea. He was loaned to Valencia, but we were somehow able to buy him despite that, and he just came straight here. So that's decent. Decent potential, but the main thing is, he's 6'4", he's got great natural fitness, he's pretty, great physical stats for an 18-year-old. 13 heading, 18 marking and 13 tackling, and he's 18 years old. You see what I mean about how I believe this guy is the future partner that Freitas has needed all this time, and I think he's going to get a lot of game time this year, because he, for me, is the kind of player that we've needed. Now, I know he's a youngster, but we spent £15.7 million on the guy to trigger his release clause, and I honestly still think that's going to be a bargain in the long run, because he is next level. He signed a 5-year deal. Obviously, he's got some wage clauses in there too, but this, to me, was the kind of deal that we really wanted to be doing, because I feel like he's good enough for the first team now, and I feel like he's got that potential to really, by the end of the season, he'll probably be starting a lot of first team matches and being an absolute boss at the back. Him and Freitas is the defensive partnership of dreams. And this is Kelvin Fopossi, who's come in from Gangomp. He's only 19 years old, but he's nearly made 100 league appearances for them in total. Now, I know I said that we were pretty stacked on that right wing, but I would only sign someone if I saw someone who was brilliant. Now, I've been tracking this guy for a good year, but initially, everything I had him as a top target, and basically every interview he'd say, not interested in the move. It was getting late in the window, and I noticed he still hadn't left Gangop, despite the huge amount of interest in him. And firstly, look at him. Great crossing, dribbling, finishing, first touch, passing, vision, height. He's pacey as all hell. He's a wonder kid, which is always nice to see. Now, he might only have 3-star potential, 3-star at the moment, but I feel like this guy's got mad potential in the long run. And he still hasn't been put a bid, so I thought, you know what? He'd requested to leave, but the problem is the asking price was enormous. So I thought maybe we could structure a deal, and that is exactly what we've done. The deal is currently £29 million up front, rising in total over the course of 3 years to a eye-watering, shattering price of £73 million. So that's how much Kelvin for Possi's cost us, 73 million, which is a lot. I grant you, 29 up front and 43 over the next 3 years, which is a huge amount of money. But I felt like at this point, there's very few players that we can sign that are young and have potential that could still, because most of the players that are of that kind of caliber that we could be looking at, really, that could improve us now, we're all in the 150 to 200 million pound range, which is why I think we've done so well to bring through our own players. And I feel like that's the only way you can get ahead at this stage. But I just felt like this was the kind of deal that we could probably just about structure rightly to get it done. So, games off camera, got some more stuff to talk about as well before our first game in the Champions League today, which is against Milan, away from home. The toughest game in our group is today. So we started off with a 2-0 victory away at Legia, a goal from Blaise Lisic and a goal from Treverio. Saavedra did pick up an injury, which was quite frustrating, but what can you do? But look at the chance creation, much better. Then a thunderous 5-0 trashing of Zag. 2 goals for Blaise Lisic, 1 for Firmino, 1 for Treverio, and a 1 for Orozco, just goals galore. Then a 3-0 victory over Lech Poznan, Ibrahima Pereira, Treverio, and of course Gorosito this time getting the goals. Not so good on the chance creation this time, might be because of their system, look at this. Then a 2-0 victory over Corona, goals from Waterberg and Jacopo Garcia. Then we had Bayern Munich in the UEFA Super Cup, and we thumped them 3-0. Domination, absolute domination. Gorosito, Treverio, and, of course, Blaise Lisic coming up with the goals on the night. But just an all-round brilliant performance to trash Bayern Munich in the Super Cup final. Played at St Mary's. We then followed that up with a 2-0 victory against Lubin, Gorosito and Restrepo with the goals. Interestingly, that 3-0 victory over Bayern gave us the Park the Tank achievement for getting 10 consecutive competitive clean sheets, which is amazing. We then had a 5-0 victory over Łódź, making it 12 consecutive competitive clean sheets. A hat-trick this time for Pereira, 1 for Restrepo, 1 for Treverio, just goals all over the team. And look at the chances created in this one. We finally did come to an end, though, against Wisła. Annoying, though. We dominated them, battered them all game. They scored their only shot on target. Firmino got us an equaliser, but my God, it could have been so much worse. We nearly lost that unbeaten run, which, by the way, is up to 86 games, I think, now. And then followed that with another 1-1 draw, this time at home to Katowice. Carroll with the goal. A bit frustrating on the night. We'd actually won 29 consecutive league matches before that Wisła game, and then we'd drawn 2 in a row, because that's Football Manager, folks. And amazingly, that leaves us second in the league. Lech Poznan have had a great start. Legia are up there too. Lechia are in there as well, but as are Katowice. They're finally up there. They've spent some big money. They signed a guy from Everton, who is now their lead striker, I believe, anyway. And he looks tasty. I think they cost them about £9 million. So they're spending some big cash. I just feel so sorry for them. If they'd got into the group stages in the Europa, I felt like they could have done something. But they got screwed by Sevilla. I feel like we've freshened everything up now with the new kits and the faces and the stadium. Everything feels fresh, and I'm ready to keep going with this save. Just on a quick side note, actually, since we've got time, because usually there's way more transfers to talk about, Gorosito won Champions League goal of the season. I can't remember what it was for, but hey, I think it was for a goal against Juventus. Freitas won Defender of the Year in the Champions League, and Gorosito won Midfielder of the Year, so that's huge. We also moved up to 12th in the overall club rankings, which is glorious. We also got £401,000 for the Iriondo clause, which was nice, just some extra cash here and there. None of the other clauses were triggered in the summer, which was interesting. Without any further ado, let's get into today's game against Milan. Let's have a look at the team, see how things are going to go today. I'm excited to see what Fopossi's going to be like. He's not played for us yet, I don't think. But I do think we for once, finally got a bit of decent luck with the draw. I feel like this is a really solid group that we should be able to get out of fairly comfortably, particularly with the strengthenings that we've had. A few players unregistered, it's not a big deal. Most of them are not going to play for us anyway. I've managed to register almost all the players I wanted. Amazingly, Milan are the favourites for this game. So we're going to just switch to... I want to try this approach today, because I feel like we can attack teams, every team in our group for every game. Not over the top, but we don't need to go for the more conservative approach just yet. So we'll do a quick pick and adjust from there. So I want Lisic, Pereira. I don't want Restrepo. I want for Posse if he's fit. Yes, he is. I want to give him his tryout today. I don't want Gorosito there. I want Orozco in there. And then I want Gorosito up top. Although it's a toss-up here, but Gorosito is definitely the better player of the two. At the back, Albarracin, Freitas, Falvella. We're going to give him his tryout here. Chabal, yeah, because Olivier played the last game. And then, of course, Iglesias in goal. You'll see that almost every single one of these, in fact, they all do have faces. The one thing I will be doing, though, over time, is phasing in the Llama, because I feel like he is just going to be godly, and we need to push him up the order a little bit, so he'll get lots of league time. I nearly loaned Zwigawa out, but no one actually put a loan bid in. Derby County did, but I wanted to loan him to a team in Poland, because Derby offered to pay 250 grand a month on top of his wages, but I wanted him to be playing in Poland. But none of the Polish teams were interested. So the bench is going to be Waterberg, Rosa, Treverio, Firmino, Opoko, Restrepo, and Grandi. We've got so much depth in this team now. It is great. And, well, it's that guy that we nearly signed. I bet you wish you'd come here now, mate. In before we get hoisted by our own petard, because we're way overconfident about this. But if we can win the toughest game in our group, then I will be really confident. I love that Gianluigi Donnarumma is still at Milan. Got a number for Posse. Notice how I still keep number 12 clear. That's a rule. I always keep that number clear. Okay, we should be good to go. New season, new me. Most of the squad is basically the same, but they'll have got a little bit better over the summer. Lisic's just he's going past people already. I love him so much. Adley with the long ranger, and Iglesias makes the save. Besiktas are beating Red Bull Salzburg. Tejera again. Get your blocks in, lads. Oh, just wide. I tell you what, Milan have created some chances here. Cleared away again. Waterberg now with a chance. The Champions League winner, Donny Waterberg. Can he find Pereira? No. Gorosito, can he find someone? Finds Waterberg! Oh, and Pereira's put it on the rebound. Ibrahima Pereira's 5th of the year. Donny Waterberg making a pretty much instant impact upon coming onto the pitch. We lead 1-0 here in Italy. Hey, Donny Waterberg picking up where Blaise Lisic left off. His initial ball wasn't the greatest, but Gorosito's presence of mind to slip him in. He goes for the strike. It's a decent effort. Great save, but then Pereira's following it in. Scores himself his 5th of the year. Lovely old job. Well, that's what you want to see. We're a goal up away from home in the toughest game in the group. Gorosito, can he cut inside and shoot? Maybe he does, and it's wide. Very pleasing first half overall. I think we've just about edged that one, but they did create some stuff, and the injury to Lisic is a concern, but Pereira's goal gives us the lead. Lovely. The system wants us to be a bit more direct, and I am tempted to do that in the second half. Just to up the tempo and be a bit more direct, and just try to find some balls in behind for Pereira, because you know what he's like. Gorosito, can he deliver something special? Pereira's header, saved, but the goalkeeper is in on the rebound. Falvella scores his first ever goal for us, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's the first goal he's ever scored for us. Maybe not, actually. Great stuff. I think it was actually the initial header from Pereira. It was a dreadful attempt at saving this. I don't know what the keeper's doing. Oh, it's a defensive header. It wasn't actually Pereira that won, it was the defender that headed it nearly in, and we're 2-0 up here in Milan. Well, this is a very pleasing scoreline for me so far. Orozco, good touch. Pereira, can he find that run of Waterberg? He does. Waterberg's got support. Can he square it for someone? He might. Oh, good chance. And it's 3-0, I think, to Besiktas in the other game. Del Valle. He's just being allowed to run straight at us here. If he could not... Oh my god, guys, come on. I'd like the clean sheet as well. Oh, great tackle, Albarracin. Treverio. Orozco. Out wide for Restrepo now. Go on, Diego. Pick out Waterberg at the back post, mate. Go short for Orozco. He might fancy it, and he does. Fernandez. Albarracin's got to go and make a block here. And for some reason, he's just not done it. What a stop that is from Iglesias. That is some Franceschi-esque behaviour. Here we go again. Waterberg to have a crack at it. It's deflected in a way. Chabal, though. Men out wide on both sides. Restrepo is the man. All the way through, Pereira's a bit too deep for him, but he's got to support him, Waterberg. Waterberg's ball. Oh, Treverio! Chabal! Couple of seconds to go. And, into the channel. Get your blocks in. Freitas heads it away. And surely that's going to be it. There we go. A 2-0 victory in Milan. That is a perfect start to our Champions League campaign. Besiktas with a 3-0 thumping of Red Bull Salzburg. But the point is we've got the victory. And Andrea Falvella, a player who I really did not like last season, and I don't like him personality-wise due to some of his actions, but he has stepped up today. Man of the match, great defensive performance, and a lovely goal to go with it. Can't really fault him for that. I'm kind of glad we've kept him around. It's useful to have him, Panda, the Llama. We've got the Panda and the Llama. I'm a huge fan of that. Well, that is a massive victory to start things off. The toughest game in the group probably, and we've won away from home. That's perfect. I want to see if we can get 18 points out of 18 in the group stage and really buff up the coefficient as much as possible, because we're going to be relied on for that, frankly. So, next episode, obviously another double header at home against Besiktas and at home against Red Bull Salzburg. We need to win both of those, get ourselves onto 9 points, and really start to dominate this season's Champions League. I want to go as far as we can. I don't think we're going to be able to win it twice in a row, but I want to at least get to the semi-finals again this year and really try and buff that quarter. I don't think we get any coefficient points for playing in the Club World Cup, do we? That would be a bit much, wouldn't it? I don't think we got any either for winning the UEFA Super Cup, unfortunately. Maybe one. I don't know. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this season, enjoyed this episode rather, and you're looking forward to the new season as much as I am, I really hope you are, then drop a like on the video. That would be fantastic. And if you are new to the channel, well, you're probably going to want to go watch the older 13 seasons that we've already done to get to this point. But still, subscribe. That'll be awesome. And I'll join you guys soon for some more of this goodiness. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.